Welcome to Lesson 9 of Story-Based English. In this lesson, we have a touching story for you. A woman named Clara finds a hidden letter from 1950 inside an old desk. The letter takes her on a journey into the past. By the end of this lesson, you will know 10 new vocabulary words, and you will understand 3 important structures: used to, be used to, and get used to. These 3 look similar, but they have very different meanings. This lesson will make them crystal clear. Let's begin.
Okay, here is our first sentence. Listen carefully. Clara found a faded letter inside an antique desk she had bought at a market. People used to write letters like this every week. Let me read that one more time. Clara found a faded letter inside an antique desk she had bought at a market. People used to write letters like this every week.
All right, let's dig into this sentence. What a wonderful start. First, the word antique. Antique is an old object that is valuable because of its age, beauty, or rarity. An antique desk, an antique clock, an antique vase. These are not just old. They are old and valuable. The word antique usually refers to things that are at least 100 years old. So a desk from 1950 could be considered antique, or at least vintage. Now, the second word is faded. When something fades, it loses its color or brightness over time. A faded letter has lost its original color. The ink has become lighter. The paper has turned yellow. You can also say that memories fade, meaning they become less clear over time. Colors fade, sounds fade, memories fade. It is a beautiful and slightly sad word. Now, here is our first grammar point. Look at this part. People used to write letters like this every week. Used to plus the base verb describes something that happened regularly in the past but does not happen anymore. People used to write letters means they did it often in the past, but now they do not. They send emails and messages instead. The structure is subject plus used to plus base verb. I used to live in Paris. She used to play tennis. We used to walk to school. All of these describe past habits or situations that are no longer true. Here is a question for you. What is something you used to do when you were younger but do not do anymore? Maybe you used to watch cartoons, or you used to ride a bicycle to school. Think about it. That feeling of something you did in the past but stopped doing is exactly what used to expresses.
Beautiful! Clara has found a piece of history. Let's see what the letter says. Here is sentence 2. The handwriting was elegant and small, and the letter was addressed to someone named Eleanor. One more time. The handwriting was elegant and small, and the letter was addressed to someone named Eleanor. Now, let's look at 2 useful words here. First, handwriting. Handwriting is the way a person writes by hand. Everyone has unique handwriting, like a fingerprint. Some people have neat, tidy handwriting. Others have messy handwriting that is hard to read. In the past, good handwriting was very important. Students practiced their handwriting for hours. People used to judge you by the way you wrote. The second word is addressed. When a letter is addressed to someone, it has their name and details written on it. The letter was addressed to Eleanor means Eleanor's name was on the letter. She was meant to receive it. You can also say, I addressed the envelope, meaning you wrote the name and address on it. In another context, to address something means to deal with it or talk about it. We need to address this problem means we need to talk about it and find a solution. There is no new grammar structure in this sentence, but notice the description. The handwriting was elegant and small. This sets the mood for the story. It tells us that the person who wrote this letter was careful, thoughtful, and probably well-educated. Every detail in a story adds meaning. The mystery deepens. Who is Eleanor? Let's read more of the letter. Here is sentence 3. The writer spoke of longing for a simpler era, saying he was used to living without technology and was happy that way. Let me read that again. The writer spoke of longing for a simpler era, saying he was used to living without technology and was happy that way. Oh, this is a beautiful sentence, and it introduces our second grammar structure. First, the word longing. Longing is a deep emotional desire for something, especially something you cannot have or something from the past. It is stronger and more emotional than just wanting. You can have a longing for home when you are far away. You can have a longing for the past. It is a feeling of missing something deeply. Now, the second word is era. An era is a long period of time defined by particular events or characteristics. The Victorian era, the digital era, the era of exploration. An era is bigger than a period. It describes a whole age of history with its own identity. Now, the grammar, look at this part. He was used to living without technology. This is different from used to in sentence 1. Be very careful here. Used to live from sentence 1 means he lived that way in the past but does not anymore. Past habit. Was used to living means he was accustomed to it. He was comfortable with it. It was normal for him. The structure is subject plus be plus used to plus gerund. She is used to waking up early. They are used to hot weather. I am used to working late. Used to here is not about the past versus now. It is about comfort and familiarity. You are used to something when it feels normal and does not bother you. Can you think of something you are used to doing? Maybe you are used to drinking coffee every morning, or you are used to studying at night. That familiarity, that comfort, is what be used to expresses. Okay, we are halfway through. Let's do a quick check. We have learned some great words and an important grammar distinction. Do you remember what faded means? Right, it means something that has lost its color or brightness over time. And what is the difference between used to write and is used to writing? Exactly. Used to write means he wrote in the past but does not anymore. Is used to writing means writing feels normal and comfortable for him. This is one of the most important distinctions in this lesson. Keep it fresh in your mind as we continue. Here is sentence 4. He wrote about how the world was changing fast and how young people were getting used to new customs that felt strange to his generation. One more time. He wrote about how the world was changing fast and how young people were getting used to new customs that felt strange to his generation. Now, here is our third and final grammar structure. First, the vocabulary. The word customs. Customs are the traditional ways of behaving or doing things in a particular society or culture. Every country has its own customs. The way you greet people, the way you eat, the way you celebrate holidays. These are all customs. Customs is different from habits. A habit is personal. A custom is shared by a whole community or culture. Now the grammar. Look at this part. Young people were getting used to new customs. Getting used to is our third structure. It describes the process of becoming accustomed to something. Let me explain the difference clearly. Be used to means you are already comfortable. The process is finished. You are used to it. Get used to means you are in the process of becoming comfortable. It is still happening. For example, she is used to the cold weather means the cold does not bother her anymore. She is comfortable. She is getting used to the cold weather means the cold still bothers her a little, but she is adapting. She is not fully comfortable yet. The structure is subject plus get plus used to plus gerund or noun. I am getting used to my new job. He is getting used to waking up early. We are getting used to living in the city. Can you think of something you are currently getting used to? Maybe a new routine, a new school, or a new way of working. If you are still adapting but not fully comfortable yet, you are getting used to it. We are almost at the end. Let's see how Clara reacts to this letter from the past. Here is sentence 5. Clara felt nostalgic as she read on, wondering how many memories were preserved inside forgotten furniture all over the world. Let me read that again. Clara felt nostalgic as she read on, wondering how many memories were preserved inside forgotten furniture all over the world. This sentence is full of emotion. First, the word nostalgic. Nostalgic means having a warm, slightly sad feeling about the past. When you are nostalgic, you remember something fondly, but also feel sad because it is gone. The smell of your grandmother's cooking, a song from your childhood, an old photograph. These things can make you feel nostalgic. The noun form is nostalgia. You might say, I feel nostalgia for my school days. What makes you feel nostalgic? Maybe a song, a place, an old toy? Everyone has something that brings back warm memories. Now, the word preserved. To preserve something means to keep it safe and unchanged over time. You can preserve food by freezing it or canning it. You can preserve old buildings by keeping them in good condition. And in this story, the desk preserved the letter. It kept it safe for decades. Here is a nice connection. Remember the word faded from sentence 1? The letter faded over time, but it was also preserved inside the desk. So the desk protected it from being completely lost. Fading is natural, but preservation fights against it. There is no new grammar in this sentence, but notice how the story builds emotional depth. Clara is connecting with a stranger from the past through a beautiful, faded letter. The story is about how objects can preserve human feelings across time.
Let's read the final sentence and see how Clara's story ends.
Here is our final sentence. Listen carefully. She realized that even though people used to live differently, some feelings never change, and the enduring power of a handwritten letter proved that love does not fade with time. One last time. She realized that even though people used to live differently, some feelings never change, and the enduring power of a handwritten letter proved that love does not fade with time.
What a beautiful ending! Let's look at the final word and then bring all our grammar together. The word enduring. Enduring means lasting for a very long time. Something enduring does not disappear or weaken. An enduring friendship is one that lasts through years and difficulties. An enduring memory is one that stays with you forever. Enduring comes from the verb to endure, which means to survive through difficulty. Something enduring has endured the test of time. Now, this final sentence brings together all three grammar structures beautifully. Look, people used to live differently. There is our first structure, used to plus base verb, past habit. People lived differently in the past. Through the letter, we learn that the writer was used to living without technology. He was accustomed to it. Be used to plus gerund. He was comfortable with that life. And the young people were getting used to new customs. Get used to plus gerund. They were in the process of adapting. All three structures in one story. Let me give you one final clear summary. Used to plus base verb, past habit, no longer true. I used to smoke. I smoked before, but I stopped. Be used to plus gerund, accustomed, comfortable. I am used to waking up early. It is normal for me. Get used to plus gerund, adapting, still in progress. I am getting used to my new job. I am not fully comfortable yet, but I am adapting. If you remember these three patterns, you have mastered one of the most confusing areas of English grammar. That is real progress. All right, now that we have broken everything down, let's listen to the entire story one more time, from beginning to end. Just listen and follow along. Clara found a faded letter inside an antique desk she had bought at a market. People used to write letters like this every week. The handwriting was elegant and small, and the letter was addressed to someone named Eleanor. The writer spoke of longing for a simpler era, saying he was used to living without technology and was happy that way. He wrote about how the world was changing fast and how young people were getting used to new customs that felt strange to his generation. Clara felt nostalgic as she read on, wondering how many memories were preserved inside forgotten furniture all over the world. She realized that even though people used to live differently, some feelings never change, and the enduring power of a handwritten letter proved that love does not fade with time. And that was our story for this lesson. What a beautiful journey through time.
And that is a wrap for this lesson. You did incredible work. Let's look at everything you learned. Vocabulary. You learned 10 new words. Antique, faded, handwriting, addressed, longing, era, customs, nostalgic, preserved, and enduring. 10 new words. Grammar. You mastered one of the trickiest areas of English. Used to plus space verb for past habits, be used to plus gerund for being accustomed, and get used to plus gerund for the process of adapting. You also explored beautiful themes of nostalgia, memory, and enduring human connections. Be very proud of yourself. This is a grammar topic that confuses many learners, and you now understand it clearly. Head over to the quiz section to test yourself, and try the role play section to practice using all three structures in conversation with an AI partner. See you in the next lesson.